Russia is falling apart due to criminal and ethnic conflicts. It's no longer a unified state. In fact, it's not even a state at all. Because a state lives by laws, but Russia lives by inertia.
That would be the most correct and patriot for him. Patriot. Yeah, I can't think of the word.
Kadyrov and Putin continue to carve up the wild berries marketplace. Putin's avatar in this is billionaire and Dagestani Senator Suleiman Kadyrov.
In this conflict, Putin also has a personal interest, which is on Karymov's side. Kadyrov is one of the wallets for Putin and his family.
From here, events unfold like in the movie Blind Man's Bluff.
And things are really bad for us. Are we going to steal a car? No, we'll go on foot.
Don put on his wedding tracksuit, gathered the Akhmat forces, who in theory should now be defending the Kursk region, and then declared that Kadyrov and 2 deputies from Dagestan and Ingushetia paid a hitman $100 million to kill Kadyrov.
There are people who have placed the order, how much money would you accept for a significant job like that? They took the nails and then bam, Kadyrov, right there.
The head of the region goes live and declares a blood feud against senators and deputies.
Wait, you could actually do that?
Even on Pirate Tortuga, there was more order than this. The wild 90s were child's play, because back then it was gangs fighting each other. Now, entire regions and republics are fighting over business.
Gang!
After radio announcement about the blood feud, unknown assailants opened fire on a car carrying English law enforcement officers on the federal highway at the entrance to Ingushetia's capital. 3 people were killed.
The Korbanovs, the Rudbanis.
The response came very quickly. In Grozny, a gas station did not explode negatively. There are casualties there too, fatalities. Naturally, that gas station belonged to the Kadyrov family. As they say, it has begun. The Caucasus is on fire, and the stench of carbon monoxide is spreading across all of Russia. And the scariest part is that because of a squabble among a handful of gangsters, the residents of the Caucasus are now in great danger. The smallest region of Russia, Ingushetia, could suffer the most. This republic and its people are among the most discriminated against in the crumbling empire. A drunken bear in a traditional shirt showed up in Ingushetia in 1772, and dark times began for the Ingush. In 1917, there was a chance to kick the decaying empire and set out on a path to freedom. Ingushetia, as part of the Mountain Republic, declared its sovereignty. The author of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the Mountain Republic was an Ingush, Vasanjiri Jabagiev. The Ukrainian People's Republic was one of the first to recognize the new state. Along with Great Britain and Germany,
In light of these recent and significant events, I firmly believe it is extremely important to urgently return to the vital project of the Mountain Republic, a project which at one time was widely recognized by dozens of sovereign countries within the international community.
the peoples of the North Caucasus, Chechens, Ingush, Dagestana stood together against Moscow's colonization. Naturally, the Kremlin grew despondent and decided to act in the most underhanded way possible, following the principle of divide and conquer. Moscow did everything it could to sow discord among peoples who were truly close.
A resident of Ingushetia, Akhmat Timoziev, asked the head of Chechnya to return the remains of his sons Hassan and Hussein for burial. In December 2020, they were killed by security forces in Grozny during an attack on police officers.
After the end of the Civil War, the communists redrew the borders of the Caucasian republics in such a way that they planted a time bomb set to go off 100 years later. And the deportation of the entire Ingush people in 1944 started the countdown. Most of Ingushetia was incorporated into the North Ossetian Soviet Republic. The mountainous part of the Prigorodny district was given to Georgia. The homes of the deported were given to Ossetian families. Ingushetia was divided up like an Ossetian pie. That's right. After the collapse of the Red concentration camp, the Ingush began returning home en masse and started demanding the return of their houses and land, which had been inhabited by Ossetians for 60 years. Caucasians are hot-blooded people, so they immediately pulled out knives and daggers. In 1992, there was an ethnic conflict that few people remember. In a short period, more than 400 Ingush were killed. The Kremlin took the side of North Ossetia. Like, why did you come back? We kicked you out, didn't we? Ingushetia lost a quarter of its historical territories.
I took part. Both I and my esteemed colleagues, including those who diligently worked there, took part. They also considered it their solemn duty. They carefully separated the opposing sides, because that was their crucial role. For example, my dedicated group and I worked both in extensive negotiations and in the field, including the important task of freeing hostages of English nationality.
And in 2001, in the Caucasus, a clan of ghouls and traitors called the Kadyrovs came to power, though they are better known as the Sultanjant collaborators.
Is it true that you once said every Chechen must kill 150 Russians to get into paradise?
1995-96, I called on Chechens to kill as many as you can. I didn't say 100, 150 or 200. I said as many as you can. At that time, I was calling for jihad.
The Kadyrov clan demanded that Ingushetia be returned to Chechnya, citing the fact that it used to be a single republic. Ingushetia asked a reasonable question, so maybe Chechnya should join Ingushetia instead. Ahmad, power! Allahu Akbar!
Ramzan Kadyrov threatened to take land from neighboring Ingushetia by force. This is how the head of Chechnya responded to the Ingush protest that took place on the 12th of November in the Sunzhensky district.
The plan for complete absorption failed, so the Kadyrovites began to tear Ingushetia apart piece by piece.
Lies, that's what it truly is.
I'm addressing all of the provocateurs right now. I took your land because I truly do not consider you to be people or even men. And I'll take all of the other remaining villages too.
In 2013, Kadyrov, in a sauna with Ingushetia's leader Yevkurov, signed a backroom deal transferring the Sunzhensky district of the Republic to Chechnya. It just so happened that this particular district is considered the richest in oil reserves. Naturally, the people of Ingushetia were surprised by the new territorial realities and told Dondon to go twist tails, chase jackals, and mint medals for his son. On the 1st of August 2014, a fight broke out with gunfire between Ingush and Chechen security forces on the border of Ingushetia and Chechnya. People were constantly taking to the streets in protest. Even the Constitutional Court of Ingushetia sided with the protesters. Kadyrov had to retreat for a while. But on the 8th of November 2018, the situation heated up again. The Chechen parliament published a new map of the republic, which included lands belonging to Ingushetia. This time, the Constitutional Court of the Russian Federation sided with Kadyrov and recognized the annexation as legal.
Ingushetia did not transfer any territory to Chechnya. The Constitutional Court based its decision on the crucial fact that there was no real administrative border between the republics. This effectively meant there was no need for a referendum.
At that time, Kadyrov was still considered Putin's foot soldier, and he was allowed to do anything. So, the foot soldier got spoiled and wanted a general's horse. A war over an online store can easily escalate into a war for territory and power across the entire former Russia. If there are no laws, then the law of the jungle automatically takes over. In this case, the law of the swamps.
Right now, I'm saying to Allah, to Allah.
No matter what you're asked about, where does the money come from? You say to Allah. To Allah?
Yes, to Allah.
Whether it wants to or not, Ingushetia is already drawn into the conflict. And there are no guarantees that blood revenge against one Ingush deputy won't spill over onto the entire Ingush people. Especially since the cocaine padishah is harboring anger and resentment
against the Ingush people, who are an ethnic group indigenous to the North Caucasus region.
Ingushetia needs to act boldly and in an organized manner, to once again become that ideological force which once already united the peoples of the Caucasus in the struggle against the local petty rulers and the Moscow occupiers.
We have decided, and I believe we have decided wisely, we are ending the war. When do we withdraw from here? The troops.
Very recently, fighters of the Ingush Liberation Army recorded a significant video message on the territory of Ingushetia in which they called upon the peoples of the Caucasus to resume their armed struggle for the liberation against Russia. The recent events in the Caucasus and the disputes around wild berries have once again shown that the collapse of the pseudo-empire has already taken place. Now we are witnessing its truly agonizing final moments. We are eagerly awaiting the ultimate decisive showdown between two fools who have gone completely mad from their absolute and unchecked impunity. The last sultan versus the last emperor. The clan of the ram versus the clan of the sheep. All of this is quite complicated. I'm very much interested to hear your considered opinion on this important matter. And the Ingush people, as well as all the diverse peoples of the Caucasus, truly need to seize this truly great historical opportunity and become truly free.
I would like to remind you that this video is created for entertainment purposes and contains elements of satire and irony. All facts and events are presented in a hyperbolized or exaggerated form to convey a comedic or dramatic effect. Our goal is not to mislead, but to highlight humor. Please take it with a smile.